Hi everyone, in this video I will explain the film called Jurassic World Rebirth. Jurassic World Rebirth is an American science fiction, action, and thriller film released on 17 June 2025. The story of this science fiction, action, and thriller film begins with the view of a helicopter flying towards an island called Isla St. Hubert, which is located in the Atlantic Ocean, and the year is 2010. On this island, a company named InGen had built a laboratory for conducting research on dinosaurs. Many scientists were actually working on dinosaur mutations. It means combining the DNA of different dinosaurs. The scientists were collecting the blood samples of all the dinosaurs and are planning to create a new, stronger, and dangerous mutated dinosaur. The scientist working in this company has already mutated many dinosaurs in its laboratory. All of these mutated dinosaurs were kept frozen inside big containers. Now they were creating a large and dangerous dinosaur inside the laboratory. But one of the male scientists was eating a chocolate before going inside the laboratory. When the laboratory door opened, he threw away the chocolate plastic cover, but it was pulled inside the laboratory room by the cool air. Then the plastic cover flies inside the small machine that controls the opening and closing of the door and destroys it. As a result, the machine inside the laboratory malfunctioned. Due to this, their mutation work stops in the middle. So all the scientists ran out of the laboratory. The employee working outside the laboratory shut down all the facilities, but the male scientist got trapped inside the laboratory. Then a big, scary, monster-like mutated T-Rex dinosaur came out and ate the male scientist. Seeing this, all the scientists get scared and run away from the island, leaving their laboratory and mutation work in between. After this incident, no one came back to this island, and it was left abandoned. In the next scene, we are shown the year 2027. In this present day, a guy named Martin, who used to work as a representative in a very big pharmaceutical company named Parker Company, was driving his car on the road. There he meets with Zora, who is the leading character of this movie. Zora has previously been a commander in the Special Forces. Martin is on a mission to bring the blood of all three types of the largest dinosaurs that live on land, in water, and in the air. Martin could not do this work alone, that is why he decided to form a team. Zora is quite skilled in fighting, using weapons, and knowing how to survive in difficult situations. Therefore, Martin first chooses Zora for his team, and he talks about giving her $10 million after the mission is completed. He starts telling her everything in detail that my company is working on a treatment for a dangerous form of heart disease, and the company needs the blood samples of all three dinosaurs to make medicine for that disease. He also said that this mission will be completely secret because the government does not allow anyone to go to the place where the dinosaurs now live. So this mission is actually illegal. After hearing all this, Zora did not want to go for the mission, but she agreed to join the team because of the large amount of money. After this, Martin took Zora to a museum about dinosaurs. There, Martin introduces Zora to a scientist, Dr. Henry Loomis. Dr. Henry Loomis has extensive knowledge about different species of dinosaurs. Martin also tells Dr. Henry Loomis that she is specially assigned for the mission. But Dr. Henry Loomis still has no idea what the mission is about. Martin tells Zora that Dr. Henry Loomis has been advising them over the past 6 months on developing a new drug called paleodioxin, which is derived from the largest dinosaur species on Earth. He further explains that they need to capture blood samples from live dinosaurs for research and to eventually develop heart medicine. Zora asked them why they want to select the largest dinosaur species only. Dr. Henry Loomis says that they are after the largest dinosaur that has the biggest heart because the bigger the heart, the bigger their coronary muscles. As a result, this largest dinosaur lived the longest, for over 100 years, which is key for the success of a new heart disease treatment. Their main targets will be 3 dinosaurs. First, the Mosasaurus, which live in the ocean. Next, the Titanosaurus, which they will find on land, and finally the Quetzalcoatlus that can fly through the skies. Each of these dinosaurs can live over 100 years. Martin tells Zora that a drug that could prevent heart disease would be worth not just billions, but trillions of dollars, and the only way for scientists who work in his pharmaceutical company to complete the drug now is to obtain the blood and tissue samples from living dinosaurs. Fortunately for them, all these largest dinosaurs exist in one isolated location. So, they are putting together a team, and they like to leave immediately for the mission. That is why Martin asks the scientist, Henry, to join his team, and he tells him everything. But Henry's hesitant, saying the whole thing and the mission are illegal. Both Martin and Zora try to convince Henry to join the mission in the name of science and the chance to save countless lives from heart disease. So, Henry finally agrees to join the mission, not because he is greedy for money, but because he loves dinosaurs. So, the purpose of going on the mission was that he would be able to see the dinosaurs more closely, and he would get more information about them. They needed more people for this mission because only the 3 of them were not enough to complete this mission. After that, they come to a place in Suriname, which is a country in South America. There, Zara introduces Martin to her 2 friends who used to work with her earlier in the Special Forces operation. One of them was Duncan, who owned a ship, and because of his training in Special Forces, he could also navigate a ship in the sea. While the other is Bobby, who will help the team in providing security and making sure they don't get killed by dangerous dinosaurs. Now, due to the inclusion of Duncan and Bobby, there are a total of 5 people in the team. After making all the preparations, they boarded the ship and set out for their mission. While trying to leave for the mission, the ship owner, Duncan, also brings a ship driver, Leclerc, and a mercenary woman, Nina. That means now there were a total of 7 people for this mission. They set out to an island near the equator, about 240 kilometers from where they're at right now. Their first mission is to extract the blood sample from the largest aquatic dinosaur, Mosasaurus. Now they look at the map of the place where they were going. After looking at the map, they know that the aquatic dinosaur, Mosasaurus, is mostly found near a special type of island. So, the first sample, which is the Mosasaurus, may roam the sea, which is close to the equator. Then Martin tells everyone that the aquatic dinosaur, Mosasaurus, generally circles the island they're headed to. He further said that this island is special because 17 years ago, a company named InGen used to conduct mutation experiments on dinosaurs there. But due to an accident, that laboratory was shut down, and after the accident, all these buildings and the laboratory were left abandoned. After that, Henry is preparing some special weapon to extract the blood of a live dinosaur. He made a gun-like syringe in which a needle and a container are attached together. When this gun is shot, the containers with needles will hit the body of the dinosaurs. After that, the needle will extract blood from the body of the dinosaur. Now, the containers will get filled with blood quickly, and it will fire out in the sky. Then, a parachute will open from the container, and it'll float back down to them. But, he makes it clear that those needles can only penetrate the thick skin of a dinosaur if they can get within 10 meters of the dinosaur. After that, the team feels very comfortable, and they keep moving towards the island near the equator to complete their mission. Meanwhile, a family is sailing on a small boat out in the middle of the ocean. The father, Ruben, calls out to his younger daughter, Isabella, asking her where her elder sister Teresa is. Right then, Teresa came out from inside the boat. Ruben asks Teresa where her boyfriend is because it's his turn to take the wheel. A moment later, her boyfriend, Xavier, also came out from inside the boat, but he refused to take the wheel, saying he was tired. Trying to ease the tension, Teresa offers to cover her boyfriend's shift instead. This family had actually come to enjoy a visit to the sea, and they were making a crossing from Barbados to Cape Town. Suddenly, a strange noise grabs their attention. Ruben hands the wheel to his younger daughter Isabella, and goes to check it out. That's when he realizes their boat is surrounded by the large aquatic dinosaur. This large aquatic dinosaur starts attacking them and soon overturns their boat, due to which all of them fall into the seawater. Teresa and Isabella quickly swim near the boat. Meanwhile, Xavier, who'd fallen asleep in the boat, is stuck down below the deck. Ruben yells at him to call for help on the radio, but Xavier is unable to open the door. Eventually, Ruben manages to get up on the boat. Not long after, Xavier breaks the door and makes it to the surface. At that moment, the large aquatic dinosaur burst out of the water and came after Xavier. Fortunately, Xavier swims and manages to climb back onto the boat. He also got the bag containing the radio in his hands. Then Ruben sets the radio frequency according to his location and sends signals around for help. Meanwhile, it was getting dark. Zara is sitting on the ship and staring out at the ocean. She looks sad in her eyes until Henry comes over and interrupts her. He asks her if she really is a mercenary. Zara told him that her role is situational security and reaction. Then she says good night and heads off to get some sleep. The next morning, Duncan picks up the radio transmission from the family whose boat was destroyed by a large aquatic dinosaur. He came to know that there is someone in the ocean who needs help. On checking, it was found that the family was stuck on their crash boat in the opposite direction, about 28 miles away from where the team is heading. But the team ship is almost close to their destination, which is the island near the equator. The pharmaceutical company representative, Martin, refuses to take their ship back to help the family. He says that before helping anyone, they first need to complete their mission, which is to take a blood sample from the largest aquatic dinosaur, and they're only 3 minutes away from reaching their destination, where the largest aquatic dinosaur, Mosasaurus, is supposed to be. But Duncan, who is also the ship's owner, is a good person, and he does not listen to Martin. He turns the ship back towards the family to help them. Soon they reach there and save the lives of all the family members by bringing them to their ship. Now Reuben tells them what had happened to them in the sea. Hearing this, the team understands that the ones who attacked the family boat were none other than the largest aquatic dinosaur, Mosasaurus. At that moment, their sonar pick up the signal that the aquatic dinosaur, Mosasaurus, is nearby their ship. The aquatic dinosaur has found their ship. While they are getting ready to go after it and stick to the mission, they decide to leave the family inside the ship to wait, promising them they'll be safe once this is all over. But as the crew heads out to hunt the Mosasaurus dinosaur, they discover it's insanely fast. Seeing the largest aquatic dinosaur, the team members did not scare but become happy, and they took their ship closer to the dinosaurs so that they could complete their first task. Zara takes her first shot with the needle gun, but the dinosaur dodges it by diving under the waves. Then the largest aquatic dinosaurs start hitting their ships. Zara almost falls from the ship, but Henry pulls her up. She has to wait for the Mosasaurus dinosaur to come as close as 10 meters before she can take her shot. Little by little, they manage to close the distance to within 10 meters. Now Zora quickly shot the Mosasaurus dinosaur with the needle gun. This time the needle weapon hit and penetrated the thick skin of the Mosasaurus dinosaur. After that, the container attached to the needle gets filled with blood, and it fires out in the sky. Then, a parachute opens from the container, and it flies back down to them. In this way, they easily get the blood sample of the largest aquatic dinosaur. Since their first task is complete, everyone in the ship becomes very happy. They congratulate Zora for taking the shot, and the scientist Henry for designing the weapon. Later, inside the ship, Henry explains to Zora that if they gave the samples over to a single company, then the price would be very expensive, and the majority of common people won't be able to afford those drugs due to the high price. So, they should be thinking about the good of everyone, and not just for rich people. But Zora tells him to stop talking because if they gave the sample to everyone in the name of science, then she wouldn't be getting any money. Moments later, the same largest aquatic dinosaur, Mosasaurus, shows up again with a group of other dinosaurs known as Spinosaurus. Seeing this, Bobby takes out the gun and starts shooting at those Spinosaurus dinosaurs. As a result, those dinosaurs seemed to retreat, but in reality, this did not make them retreat. Instead, they grew aggressive, and one dinosaur jumped close to the ship and caught Bobby and ate him in front of everyone. Seeing the dinosaur eating Bobby alive, everyone started to panic. Right after that, the largest aquatic dinosaur bursts out of the water and starts hitting the ship, while those Spinosaurus dinosaurs try to attack them again and again. Due to this, the ship started to shake badly. Meanwhile, Reuben tells his eldest daughter, Teresa, to radio for help and call emergency services. Teresa attempts to use the radio to call for help, but Martin gets panicked and stops her in order to protect the mission's secrecy. Then she pushes him away from the radio, but she slips and hangs on the side of the boat and is about to fall in the seawater. She asked Martin for help, but he refused to help her. A moment later, she falls into the water. Seeing this, his boyfriend, Xavier, jumps in the water to save her. Reuben knew the ship was about to sink. So he, along with his daughter, Isabella, also jumps into the water, and thus, all four of them are separated from the team. Duncan starts sailing the boat toward nearby islands because he knows that the Mosasaurus dinosaur can't swim in shallow waters. Meanwhile, the Mosasaurus dinosaur attacks the ship again and again, forcing the ship to sail towards some rocky formations. As the boat keeps hitting against the rocks, eventually everyone's forced to jump into the water. Somehow Duncan handles the ship, and he also brings the ship closer to the island. Then the Mosasaurus dinosaur stops attacking the ship, and it turns away. But the ship speeds up to the shore and crashes violently into a rock, causing it to be badly damaged. The survivors swim hard until they reach the island. In the water, Teresa finds Xavier and tells him that Martin didn't save her and let her fall in the water. Then all four of them quickly swim to the nearby island. The family finally makes it to shore with a lot of effort. Later, Reuben and his family reach a spot with an absolutely stunning view of the island. While staying in the ship, Reuben heard that there's a village on this island. So, they continue their journey to find the village on this island and get help. Meanwhile, Duncan and his friend got down from the damaged ship and stepped onto the island. The girl, Nina, who's also part of the team, is gathering some supplies. But there was a Spinosaurus on the shore near her that nobody had noticed. Suddenly the Spinosaurus attacked Nina from behind and brutally dragged her into the ocean. Martin told Zora that these dinosaurs are no ordinary dinosaurs because they are like mutated or abnormal dinosaurs. The dinosaur that took Nina was one of them. He further said that this island was a laboratory that conducted experimental work on crossbreeding of different species of dinosaur. Some of those hybrid dinosaurs turned out too scary for people to see. But each mutation is worth $72 million, so they can just wipe them out. Now, 2 of their team members had just died in a horrible way. But they still continue on their mission to get the other 2 samples of the dinosaur. They were all getting worried, then Zora comforted them, saying that she has another backup plan as well. She says that she had an idea that their ship may get destroyed during their mission. That is why she hired another rescue team to monitor their ship's radio frequency. So if the rescue team doesn't hear from them in 24 hours, they'll come to this island the next day with a rescue helicopter. That is why today itself they have to finish their remaining 2 tasks as soon as possible. After that, Zara and her friends continue their mission to collect those remaining 2 samples from the body of Titanosaurus, which is the largest land dinosaur, and Quetzalcoatlus, which is the largest dinosaur that can fly through the skies. Meanwhile, Ruben and his family were at another place on the island. Now this family is trying to figure out a way to get off this island. They are still looking for the village. Find a radio from there and call for help. They find many pipes that were previously used by the engine company laboratory. Ruben thought that these pipes must lead to the village, but actually it is leading to the abandoned laboratory facilities. Then they all follow the pipes and continue their journey to reach the village. On the way, the little girl, Isabella, came across a small dinosaur, known as Aquilops. Her elder sister Teresa manages to scare the small dinosaur away. Not long after, Ruben thanks Xavier for jumping into the sea to save his elder daughter Teresa. At the same time, Zara and her team continue their journey to perform the second task, which is to collect the blood sample from Titanosaurus, which is the largest land dinosaur. Henry told them that according to the satellite imagery, these largest land dinosaurs lived around the central valley of this island, and they should reach there by early next morning. They moved forward very carefully and crossed the water. While crossing the water in the thick forest, they see different types of strange creatures living in the water. They continue walking through the thick forest. At that time, Martin walks over to the small river to fill up his water container. There he sees the wreckage of a crashed helicopter. He then took the pistol from the dead soldier's hand that is hanging from the crashed helicopter. It is getting dark, and the family are trying to get some rest. While Ruben and his daughters are resting, Xavier steps away to find some privacy. The little girl Isabella wakes up and realizes the lonely small mutated dinosaur has come back and wants to stay with them. So she allows the small mutated dinosaur to sleep next to her. Meanwhile, while Xavier is urinating, he suddenly notices 2 velociraptor dinosaurs trying to attack him from behind. Fortunately, at that moment, a flying dinosaur, also known as a pterosaur, shows up and kills both the velociraptor dinosaurs. Then the flying dinosaur grabs one of the dead velociraptor dinosaurs and flies off, leaving Xavier shaking and absolutely horrified. The next day the team finally reaches the Central Valley area of the island. Soon, they start hearing noises coming from all kinds of different species. So, they decide to move as quietly as possible. Suddenly, a giant tail swings into the sky. Later it turned out to be the tail of the largest land dinosaur, Titanosaurus. They all run near the large dinosaur to get a better look. Despite their massive and fearsome look, these large dinosaurs actually are calm and very gentle. Henry, who is obsessed with dinosaurs, goes near the large dinosaur and touches its big leg. He feels something totally unique and unforgettable. Then Zora gets the needle gun and shoots at the dinosaur. The needle hit the neck of the dinosaur and secretly extracted the blood. Thus the second container gets filled with the blood sample of Titanosaurus. They also realize that there's a large number of such dinosaurs in this area. Now they have the blood samples of 2 dinosaurs and need to get the remaining blood sample of the third dinosaur, Quetzalcoatlus, which is the largest dinosaur that can fly through the skies. It is also very risky to extract the blood sample from such a full-grown Quetzalcoatlus, since they are carnivorous dinosaurs. So, Zara and Henry plan to extract the sample from one of the eggs laid by the flying dinosaur on the nest. Now to do this they had to go to the highest mountain on the island. Finally they reach the top of the highest mountain, where the nest of the flying dinosaur is located. The ship driver, Leclerc, first climbs down the mountain. Then Zora and Henry also climb down and follow behind him. They reach an entrance of a cave that looks like an ancient temple. Then, they walk inside the entrance and finally find the eggs of the flying dinosaur, Quetzalcoatlus. Henry takes an egg in his hand and starts extracting the samples from it using the needle weapon. Immediately after collecting the samples from the egg, the mother dinosaur returned to its nest. So, before they could leave, the mother dinosaur became furious with anger and started attacking Henry and Zora. Their teammate Leclerc tried to help them, but instead the mother dinosaur turned towards him. The mother dinosaur also pulls the rope tied to Henry, and the sample slips from his hands. Then the rope pulls him, and he falls over the edge of the mountain. But Zora grabs the rope and holds onto him just in time. Henry tried to get the sample, but the container filled with the sample got ejected and fired out into the sky. Then, the parachute opened from the container, and it flew back down the mountain. At that moment, the rope got broken, and Henry fell from the high mountain. But luckily he falls on tree branches and finally lands in water down below, which saves his life. Meanwhile, the dinosaur keeps chasing Leclerc. Duncan and Martin tried to pull up Leclerc, but the flying dinosaur ate Leclerc in front of them. Then the flying dinosaur tried to attack Duncan and Martin. But they found a secret passage that connects the top of the mountain to the ground below. Both of them used the secret passage and quickly came down to the ground below. Zara also comes down to the ground below using the rope. They are relieved to see that Henry is alive, and immediately the container containing the sample also falls down near Henry. So, they manage to keep the sample of all three largest dinosaurs of sea, land, and air safe, and consider the mission as complete. Now, they move further into the island with the samples, and are figuring out how to get home. Meanwhile, the family is walking in the forest and meets with the small mutated dinosaur again. It seems the small mutated dinosaur has been following them. Isabella put the small mutated dinosaur in her bag. Then, they all continue their journey but slip and fall down below. The small mutated dinosaur also falls too. But it gets scared and runs away, sensing there is some danger in that area. They see a boat in the distance across the river and decide to use it in their journey because Ruben can't walk due to his leg being hurt. So, Teresa decides to cross the river to take the boat. She slowly makes her way forward toward the place where the boat is kept. But on the way, she sees a dead dinosaur, and another small dinosaur is feeding on it. Then the small dinosaur runs away after seeing her. As she gets even closer near the boat, another big dinosaur, which is a predator T-Rex dinosaur, suddenly appears. Teresa turns around and sees the T-Rex dinosaur sleeping right there. Seeing the T-Rex dinosaur nearby, Ruben and Xavier signal her to quickly return. But Teresa is still determined to take the boat. So she keeps moving forward, but once she reaches there, she realizes the boat was incomplete, broken, and abandoned. Then she searches the area and finds an emergency raft bag. Then Teresa drags the emergency raft bag over to the dock, and it is getting very close to the river. From the other side of the river, Ruben and Xavier signal her not to inflate it, because the noise of the raft inflating may wake up the T-Rex dinosaur nearby her. But Teresa, who is wanting to get off the island as soon as possible, ignores them. So she pulls and activates the mechanism. The noise of the raft bag inflating wakes up the T-Rex dinosaur that had been sleeping. Although it doesn't see Teresa and walks away to another part of the river to drink some water. While the dinosaur is drinking water, Teresa pushes the raft boat over to the river and moves to the other side of the river, where her family is waiting. Finally, the raft boat reaches the other side of the river, and everyone jumps onto the boat. Then they try to quickly sail the boat along the river current, but the T-Rex dinosaur sees them and starts following them. They are all panicking and start paddling the boat very fast, trying to get away from the T-Rex dinosaur. But the T-Rex dinosaur dives under the water and starts swimming after them. It overtakes them, and the strong current in the river starts pulling them straight toward the area where the T-Rex came out. In one single strike by the T-Rex dinosaur, the raft boat flips over and everyone falls into the water. The family manages to survive and float in the water along the river current. But once the T-Rex realizes they're still alive, it continues to keep chasing them. It almost caught Ruben, but he dives under the water and escapes from the dinosaur. Then Ruben told everyone to hide among some rocks so that the T-Rex dinosaur can't get to them. So Teresa and Xavier swim towards Ruben, and they all hide behind the rocks. But then they realize their little girl Isabella is missing. They call her name in a panic, and Isabella responds to them from under the overturned raft boat, which is still floating in the water. Isabella had been hiding under the overturned raft boat the whole time. Knowing she is still alive, her father, Ruben, feels some relief. But all the noise and screaming catches the attention of the T-Rex dinosaur. It then spots the little girl hiding under the overturned boat. The T-Rex dinosaur then lifts the boat in the air by its massive scary teeth. Reuben thought the T-Rex dinosaur had swallowed his little daughter, and he was left completely upset. But a moment later, Isabella pops up from under the water and swims toward them. Finally, they all manage to regroup and hide behind the rock in the river. Still, the T-Rex dinosaur tries to go after them, but the rocks prevent its path, and thus the family is safe now. Immediately after the T-Rex dinosaur left the place, the raft boat popped up from the water in front of them. Then they continue their journey along the direction of the river current to reach the village, which is actually the laboratory facility. It is getting dark, and the family finally reaches near the old laboratory facilities, which were used to conduct mutation experiments on dinosaurs by the Engine Company 17 years ago. Then they look for anyone there to get some help. Meanwhile, the team also reaches near the old laboratory facilities. Duncan uses binoculars and looks around the area. From a far distance, he sees the helipad right in the middle of a huge dam. But he can't see the family anywhere. Zara notices fresh footprints of the little girl on the ground and tells everyone that the little girl and her family must be nearby. Finally, they meet the family and reunite with them. But Teresa is angry at Martin, saying he tried to stop her from calling for help. She also further said that he wanted her to die by letting her fall in the sea while they were under attack by the aquatic dinosaur. In the middle of all this, Martin pulls out the gun, which he got from the crashed helicopter, and points it at all of them. Then he took the suitcase containing all 3 samples of the dinosaurs from Zora and locked it with a chain on his hand. After that, he told everyone to calm down and wait for the rescue helicopter to arrive. Right then, the little girl Isabella hears a strange noise. The sounds turn out to be coming from a generator that operates when it becomes dark due to setting timer in it. A few moments later, the place is filled with lights along with a sweet music. They also came to know that the danger here in this laboratory area is more than outside in the forest because a mutated flying dinosaur came into the area, forcing everyone to run for their lives. They run into different parts of the facilities to hide. The family managed to lock themselves inside a supermarket while the mutant flying dinosaur kept chasing after them non-stop. Another mutated flying dinosaur also came there and tried to attack Duncan and Henry. So, both of them run inside the old laboratory facilities to escape from the mutated flying dinosaur. There, Henry sees various species of dinosaurs still frozen inside cryogenic chambers. Meanwhile, Duncan discovers a tunnel system that goes under the whole island. This tunnel leads to the ocean, and there is a boat at the end of the tunnel. At that moment they see the rescue helicopter flying in the sky. Duncan told Henry to get the pilot's attention while he left the place to find the family. Immediately after Duncan leaves the place, Henry sees a big mutated T-Rex dinosaur roaming inside the abandoned laboratory. On the other side, Zara runs and hides under a vehicle along with Martin. Now the mutated flying dinosaur sees them and starts attacking them. They get trapped under the vehicle and hide under it. Martin starts shooting at the mutant flying dinosaur, but it attacks him back. But, somehow, he escapes from the dinosaur. Then Martin and Zara continue to hide under the vehicle. After that, the mutant flying dinosaur turned its attention to the supermarket and tried to attack the family again. Inside the supermarket, the small mutated dinosaur shows up and manages to find the family. Isabella offers her some food. At that moment, the mutant flying dinosaur breaks the roof and enters the supermarket. It came after Isabella, but she manages to hide inside a fridge. The dinosaur looked at the fridge door and saw its own reflection and left the place. The family finds a tunnel under the supermarket, and they escape using the tunnel. Meanwhile, Martin and Zora also see the rescue helicopter flying above the island sky. Martin sees the keys of the vehicle and decides to move towards the helipad. So he carries the samples and drives the vehicle, leaving Zora behind. Then the mutated flying dinosaur heard the noise created by the family under the tunnel, and it jumped down to go after them. Zara also sees it. So she jumps inside the tunnel too to help the family. Meanwhile, the helicopter crews did not see any clear signals from the ground below and started preparing to leave. Then Henry fires off a flare just in time in the sky, catching the rescue team's attention. But the flare also got the attention of the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur. The helicopter flies back around to pick them up, but the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur appears and tears the helicopter to pieces, killing all the crew inside. Seeing the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur, Henry is horrified, and he runs as fast as he can to warn others about what just happened. He came near Duncan and told him the news about the destruction of the rescue helicopter by the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur. They both enter the tunnel, and everyone manages to regroup, except for Martin. Now, their hope is to go through a tunnel that leads out to the ocean, where there is a boat still waiting. The mutated flying dinosaur also follows behind them through the tunnel. But Zora shot and killed the dinosaur. They know that if Martin gets to the boat before they do, he'll take off and leave them trapped on the island. So, they keep moving forward and finally reach the exit of the underground tunnel. But the exit of the tunnel is blocked by a locked gate, and the control panel to open the gate is on the other side of the gate. At that time, the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur walked near them. Actually, this big mutated T-Rex dinosaur is none other than the same dinosaur from the beginning of the movie, which destroyed the entire engine company laboratory after waking up. Since the little girl Isabella is the only one small enough to fit through the narrow space of the lock gate, she crawls in and manages to unlock the gate and lets the others escape from the tunnel. Meanwhile, Martin keeps driving the vehicle forward toward the helipad, hoping to escape. But instead he comes in front of the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur. The big mutated T-Rex dinosaur gets distracted by Martin, who charges with a vehicle. It then smashes the vehicle with its hand, and Martin somehow manages to climb out unharmed from the vehicle for a moment. While he is trying to grasp the suitcase containing the sample, the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur grabs and eats him as a whole, and the suitcase containing the sample falls down on the ground. Zara picks up the sample that fell from Martin's hands. Now, they all rush toward the boat, which was actually used many years ago by the engine company. As they decide to use this boat and try to get out from the island, the little girl, Isabella, freezes in horror for a moment after seeing the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur walking so close to her. In the meantime, Duncan notices that this big dinosaur moves towards the direction of the bright light. Then, he decides to sacrifice himself to save the little girl. So he lights a flare to distract the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur and lure it away from everyone. As the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur's attention is drawn towards Duncan, who is holding a flare, he starts running away from the boat. In this way, it starts following him, and the remaining people get a chance to escape from the island. However, Zara is sad about this and does not want to leave the place without Duncan. But Duncan said that they have no other way apart from this. So, he has to do this and told everyone to leave from there. Then Ruben quickly starts the boat, and all of them begin leaving the island. Still, Zara wanted to wait for Duncan, but the other people told her that they have to go right now. From the boat, they watch in deep sorrow as Duncan makes the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur chase him. Zara also believed that Duncan has been killed and eaten by the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur. After some time, the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur returned and tried to attack the boat again, but luckily the boat moved faster, and they managed to leave the big mutated T-Rex dinosaur behind. A few moments later, just when they think it's all over, suddenly they see a flare go off on the horizon. Seeing the flare, Zara felt that her friend Duncan may still be alive. So, she immediately headed the ship near the flare and saw Duncan was completely safe and alive. They quickly pull him onto the boat and keep heading away from the island. On the way, both Henry and Zora decide that they will distribute these samples to the world so that everyone will get the medicine at an affordable price. They also discover that the small mutant dinosaur managed to come along with them on the boat. In the end, they watch a group of dolphins jumping and gliding through the water around them. Then they look at each other, sharing a smile and hope that all the danger is now over. Thanks for watching, and I really appreciate it if you've enjoyed the video so far.